Welcome to this Random Review Show special. Today we'll be reviewing the Nintendo 3DS. We felt with any new release of major computer hardware, we thought it was our duty to review it for you. We felt that we should analyse it as thoroughly as we can, look in depth at all its features, and report back to you whether we think it's worth purchasing and what's good and what's bad about it. Naturally, with a platform boasting stereoscopic 3D viewing, you may be wondering why we didn't actually choose to make this episode in 3D. Well, we could have. We could have used analytic-style 3D glasses and made our review show a nice red-green effect. We could have also filmed it in an interlace format suitable for use with PC shutter glasses. Or maybe we could have been very up-to-date and even had it in a format suitable for polarization. Or low-tech, like with an animated GIF-style alternate left-right image. However, on reflection, we thought making our viewers sick, colourblind and nauseous was probably not such a good idea. So, to make up for it, for those disappointed in the lack of a true 3D film experience, we'll be occasionally throwing random objects at the screen.
Sometimes in slow motion.
We hope this makes up for it. Okay, on with the review. Obviously the first question is, who gets the 3DS? We need to review this 3DS, so which of us should get it? Well, I think, personally, I'm the most deserving. I've had my DS since 2 weeks before the UK launch. I'm on my third battery for it. My back is worn away. My touchscreen's out of alignment. And I've got to say, I've put in 400 hours at Advance Wars. I need a new machine. Surely no one is more deserving than me of a brand new 3DS.
I guess we have a winner. How are you supposed to play the 3DS anyway with your arm like that?
Oh, this? Oh, it seems the healing effects of energy drinks are only temporary.
In this review, we're going to focus on the several aspects of the 3DS. One of us is going to just look at the 3D itself. We're going to check out the style of the 3DS. We're going to look at the built-in games. And of course, we're going to look at the augmented reality aspect. I suppose you want to do the AR bits. Well, technically speaking, it's Wolf's choice.
Well, I guess you can do it, but you know, just sit in the corner till we're done. We'll call you.
Alright. No, don't you hate those unboxing videos you find online? As if people would actually watch other people unpacking stuff.
That's great. Could you give me scissors?
Yeah.
Yeah.
However, what if they would actually do it in an ironic way? Would that be better?
No. Oh yeah. Why do these make these boxes so?
Because they want you to put effort into actually unboxing stuff.
Oh, so that's why. What's this? Oh,
that's probably all the guarantee and all the.
That's just a battery.
So, now what?
Now we play.
let's start with the most important things that I think of the DS. My DS box set that it would be aqua blue is turquoise. It's not very noticeable, but yeah, the hue is kind of off, and well, aqua is actually more the color I'm wearing as t-shirt right now. So I was kind of confuzzled by that. I don't really mind. I thought I bought blue. I thought this thing was aqua blue. This is not blue. This is not even aqua.
So you don't want it? I'll just be in the corner.
I like how they put like 3 different colors on it. It's supposedly these represent the different parts, like where you put in the games and where the data is stored, and where the Wi-Fi stuff happens and where the 3D stuff happens. It's not heavier than the previous DS. It feels nice. The buttons feel nice. So yeah, I really like the analog stick, which is really feels really springy. It springs back back into place, and it feels very tough. So yeah, I'm pleased with the industrial design of the DS, and yeah, that's about it for the industrial design. So the 3D effects, I actually don't have that much trouble with 3D effects. At least I didn't have trouble with it in cinema, so for me it's like I'll just put on the slider a bit and I'll see some really nice 3D in front of me.
Me personally, I didn't really have much trouble besides the initial moment, because you have to align the screen well with your eyes. Then it was also a bit with the moving games, because then sometimes you could put the screen a little bit too far away from your eyes. But everything else is just ye old hand-eye coordination. Now, I also understand the criticism of people to the 3D gimmick. I mean, me personally, I can't really think of a single moment in my life that I'm using 3D. I don't think we've evolved to understand 3D, so I think it's stupid that the developers are forcing this whole 3D thing onto us. Me personally, I'm actually using 2 eyes, just in case the other one is lying.
Now, as you might have been able to tell, I'm a bit of an AR enthusiast. Augmented reality is simply adding virtual data to live footage. This could be as simple as a label, or possibly something more advanced like 3D objects or scenery. Now, AR isn't new. It's been around for quite some time now, particularly in smartphones. Lots of Android and iPhone apps you can now get will overlay virtual information onto the live camera stream. Normally this takes the form of you holding your phone up and it telling you what's around you at that moment, say nearby restaurants or something. The 3DS isn't even the first console to do AR. Before the DS was released, there was a console called the Gizmondo. This came with a camera built in and also had some AR features. Unfortunately, that company was run by a crook, and the console went on to sell a spectacularly low 25,000 units. So, while the 3DS may not be the first console to do AR, it's probably the most mainstream. So, the question is, how well does it do it? How effective is it? And is it a selling point? Well, to start with, the horsepower of the 3DS, combined with Nintendo's quite immodest budget in developing it, means it gives it the most impressive technical AR thing I've seen on a consumer device. We're talking not just 3D overlays to the world, but advanced shaders, shadows, lighting, the stereoscopic cameras giving the distance gauging. It even uses the horsepower it's got to manipulate the live camera feed to ripple and distort the world in some really pleasing effects. So, at least from a visual standpoint, with the tracking robust and the syncing pretty good, it's amazing. It's well beyond what you see on phones. Now, the 3DS comes with a dozen or so built-in bits of AR software. Most of them are unlockables. Most of them are also fairly small toys, fun but not too involving. There's also a few games among them though, and I think these games are very effective and show off the system's features well. One of the ones you start out with is a simple shooting game. You rotate the 3DS system around your AR card, shooting targets. Some of them seem to pop out of the card, some beneath it, some create a hole in your desk, making you really have to get in just the right angle to hit them correctly. It's effective, it works well, and it comes across as fresh and unique. The only downside is you have to play these in good lighting conditions. I've noticed many times if the lighting is poor, the DS system loses the tracking on the card. This effectively pauses your game until it can re-establish the card. Some of the other toys you can play with the AR stuff include an unlockable map. Now, why anyone would want a relatively low-resolution globe hovering in their hand, I don't know. It's certainly not too helpful for navigation purposes, and you'd be a fool to use such a system. Overall, I think, probably because I'm slightly biased, but I think the augmented reality is the number one selling point of 3DS at the moment. Unless you're a Street Fighter fan, there isn't much of the current launch lineup of games, the XCOM-ish Ghost Recon being a possible exception. However, if you buy 3DS now, you will still have a lot of fun of it just through these games and unlockables.
The 3DS can also record sound and then place it back with these budgies that you have like sort of here in the lower half of your screen. The budgies normally give you some piece of advice of what you can do with the 3DS, and in this case they just play back the music at random. Now, we thought about testing this with our own budgie experts. And that was our expert. The 3DS also has some other things that you can adjust the sound to. I mean, there are some sound effects, there's pitch and speed, which everyone needs. Funnily enough, there's no equalizer. I guess Nintendo doesn't really believe in social engineering.
It has to be like the most most detailed music player I've ever seen when it comes to shuffling, because there's like 2 or 3 different shuffle modes, and the shuffler, also represented as a budgie, remembers what tracks you like most, so it will repeat these tracks more often. And I kind of like that, because sometimes I have a song I can't be bothered to remove, and yeah, I don't really want to listen to it all the time. There's also these nice visualizers, which have all sorts of stuff happening if you press the L and R buttons. And there's even a little mini game where you have to keep a football bouncing. It's kind of fun.
I have no comments to make on this game. It really speaks for itself. The 3DS has a double camera in the front or the back, depending how you're situating the 3DS. Anyway, which fits perfectly in the quest of the Japanese to turn everything into a face. There's also one of them in the front too, so Nintendo can see what type of faces you normally pull when you're doing Star Road on 150cc. You can take 3D pictures and in the future 3D footage. The pictures are stored on your SD card as a single camera JPEG and as a stereo MPO. MPO is actually a standard with 3D cameras, so it's nice to see Nintendo abiding themselves to standards. unlike some other companies. With your pictures you can add stars and whatever. There's also a mystery mode which does absolutely weird and random stuff. It looks pretty fun. The 3DS is backwards compatible with the DS. Like the DS was backwards compatible with the GBA, and the GBA was backwards compatible with the Game Boy Color, and the Game Boy Color was backwards compatible with the original Game Boy, which in turn we all know was backwards compatible with Stonehenge. With our 3DS, the best games on the market are still from its previous generation. Just like with the Game Boy when it was first released, the best games were still from its predecessor. You can run pretty much any piece of DS software just fine on the 3DS. There's only a few snags. The first one is that the original DS had a lower resolution than the 3DS. So when you play it on your screen you either have black borders or the footage is a little bit stretched. The other thing is that it takes a little longer to load on the 3DS, but thankfully it's not because of those annoying warning screens that you have on the Wii. Of course, like with any other Nintendo system right now, you can create your own Miis and you can share it and whatever. Miis didn't really appeal to me in the first place. There's however also a Mii conversion option. You just take a picture of yourself and the system itself automatically converts you into a Mii. Strangely enough, with anybody we've tried it, everybody seems to be getting really fat faces or fat cheeks or fat jaws. The system itself doesn't really seem to recognize thin faces well enough. Maybe it's only calibrated on Japanese people, I don't know. Street Bus is a little application that runs in the background with your 3DS, also when it's on standby. With Street Bus you can exchange your Miis with other people and they go on a little trip. They also star in a small game named Street Quest, a fun little RPG. I hope that there will eventually be some way of tracking your Miis. I mean, it would be fun to see them going all across the globe, having adventures, leading a more interesting life than you actually have. You can exchange puzzle pieces and other little bits of information, like what you're doing with your system. For example, it also shares your recently played playlist. Now some people will cite privacy concerns, but I feel rather secured knowing that other people also listen to embarrassing stuff.
Marching along as their song fills the air. Gummy bears bouncing here and there and everywhere.
All in all, a really cool feature, and I hope that in the future I'll encounter loads more people with Street Pass. To me, the best feature of the system is that you can pause your game at any time and add some notes or drawings in the bottom of your screen. Anyone who has played an adventure game can understand how good that is. You can also browse the internet during gaming, and to me, I think that's only in there because of extensive lobbying by GameFAQs. Maybe not one of the main features of the 3DS, and probably nobody is going to buy it for it, but what I also really like is that the developers put a lot of sort of love into the system. There's a lot of small little jokes, Easter eggs, small little things of which you think, oh, if I try this, well, they really hadn't thought of that. But it turns out they did. For example, if you have the, you can buy an augmented reality version of Earth. And you can shoot at it. But the funny thing is that the more you shoot at it, the redder it becomes until it eventually blows up. I thought these were sort of these small things that's a sort of a mindset you have to as a programmer to put these things in. So I think this only shows that even though I have some criticism about the 3DS, all in all, it's a well thought of out concept.
We'll do it backwards sometime anyway.
Well, you know my opinion about the 3DS. How about yours?
Well, I really like that I can play my old games on it as well.
AR! Yay!
Okay. Now that's done. Can I play with the 3DS?
That's my DS.
Pretty please.
I think I actually left it at school.
Oh.
So I'm going to get it at school.
Oh, okay.
It's not far away, so.
She's not. You left it at school. Wait, do you think she may be tricking us?
Damn it!
Marching along as their song fills the air. Gummy bears, bouncing here and there and everywhere. Hiding in troubles beyond compare. They are the gummy bears.
Okay, we have enough. Okay, that's enough. We've got all we need. We only need it for example. 13, we have enough. We have enough footage. Are you okay? Are you okay.
What are you waiting for?
Just touch these two strands together, and the Daleks are finished. Have I that right?
To destroy the Daleks, you can't doubt it.
But I do. You see, some things could be better with the Daleks. Many future worlds will become allies just because of their fear of the Daleks.
It isn't like that.
But the final responsibility is mine. Mine alone.
We're talking about the Daleks, the most evil creatures ever invented. You must destroy them. You must complete your mission for the Time Lords.
Do I have the right? Simply touch one wire against the other, and it's it. The Daleks cease to exist. Hundreds of millions of people, thousands of generations can live without fear, in peace, and never even know the word Dalek.
Then why wait? If it was a disease or some sort of bacteria you were destroying, you wouldn't hesitate.
But if I kill, wipe out a whole intelligent life form, then I become like them. I'd be no better than the Daleks.
Think of all the suffering there'll be if you don't do it.
Doctor! Doctor, I've been looking everywhere for you. Davros has agreed to our terms.
He submitted?
He did.
I'm grateful to you, Garman. More grateful than I can tell you.
The meeting's about to begin. Will you come?
Yes.
Idiot!